when I saw that Nani Wabushi man singing on TV, I went home, couldn't wait to practice in front of the mirror till I got it right. Then I got my mom's quilt and put it over my shoulders. It's a colorful quilt, tied it with a belt, got a headband, and I said, okay, I'm ready. So then I packed my gear and I went next door to Mr. and Mrs. Yanashige's. And they knew me from baby time. They knew that I'm happy-go-lucky, love to sing, love to imitate, whatever. I was like 10. So I went in the bedroom and I dressed and I walked out. They busted out laughing at the outfit. I had clothespins to make them like the kimono sleeve. So I had all the clothespins closing. They were screaming, laughing, and then I started singing. And I still picture them today, hysterical.
What
this
did you
old
sing?
Japanese couple with accent and all, talks in Japanese, busting out laughing. And then I sang the imitation of the Nani Wabushi. What does it no mean nothing, you know, but it's just the way they sing, the old timers at that time, the popular type of music. And so they gave me 25 cents. And back then, that's a lot of money, you know.
Even at a young age, Frank De Lima was successful at making people comfortable with laughing at themselves. Next on Long Story Short, one of Hawaii's iconic comedians. Whether you knew him as Imelda Marcos, the radio Coho announcer, or the guy who made the name Lucille famous in Hawaii, you had to laugh with Frank De Lima.
Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox is Hawaii's first weekly television program produced and broadcast in high definition.
Aloha mai kako, I'm Leslie Wilcox. Growing up in a strict Catholic household in Pauoa, Frank De Lima dreamed of being one thing, a priest. And he almost made it, until he discovered a love for entertaining and poking fun at the rich cultural diversity we have in Hawaii. But still, after years spent aiming at that honored standing in the Catholic Church, the decision to choose comedy was not an easy one.
What'd your mom say?
She was supportive. Mom was always supportive.
Really?
All the way through my life. You know, she would come to the shows and be so proud. And then she would, the older part of her life, she would catch the bus and go to the Woolworths and Sears and put my albums in front of everybody else's. So
That's supportive, all right.
Oh, my mom was very supportive all the way through. And she was supportive of the fact that I had made that decision. But she was worried what I'm going to do. And I said, we'll see. Let God just guide me. And before you know it, my brother-in-law was in charge. He owned all-inclusive tours. So he heard that I had quit. He knew how entertaining I was. So he hired me. Day after I left. He said, form a trio to entertain my tourists. And the Canadians were the ones that were coming in. Man, oh man, the bus loads of Canadians. So his company was doing very well, and I was in charge of briefings and entertainment for briefings, and the luau's, and beach parties. So I worked 7 days a week, entertaining people.
Did you ever have trouble coming up with material?
No, it was all from when I was growing up. Radio Coho. Mm-hmm. The tourist, I did the Lovely Hula Hands, you know, the comic version, get them laughing. And I sing Hawaiian songs too. I would sing falsetto, Kalamaula, and you know, all those beautiful falsetto songs. I could do that back then. Now I cannot, but back then it was really beautiful, and the tourists just loved that part as well. So entertainment.
Serious and funny entertainment.
Serious and funny. And then I needed extra money, so I got into nightclub. My brother-in-law knew this bar owner, and so my first gig was a Club 400 on Sunday afternoons. And Sterling Mossman came in with Barney Isaacs and their the wives or girlfriends. And they came in on a Sunday and they loved it. So every Sunday they would bring their friends, and my CYO gang would come. So the place was packed on Sundays. So the manager of the bar gets all excited. So they give me Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and the other band would do 5 nights. Then the other band left, and so I got it. And then I got into a car accident, and so that kind of shut down everything for a while. Then I had to recuperate from that. It took a long time because I broke my femur, and so they had to put a steel rod in, and it didn't take. So then the steel rod broke when I was doing isometrics and, determination. So I pushed harder than normal people. And then they put the next one in. And so about 3 years later.
Oh, that's a long
departure.
Oh.
So anyway, but in the meantime, I was going with crutches and a cane to the Noodle Shop to see my friends that were playing at the ranch house when I was a deacon.
The Noodle Shop, that intimate venue tucked away in a corner of Waikiki. I guess you could call it Frank De Lima's first big break, because it was there that he met Millie Fujinaga, his first real manager.
And the Noodle Shop had just, at that time, I mean, I don't know what
It was
point
only
that
music
was.
then, yeah.
Okay, but it was the place to go.
Oh, yes, yeah. Millie was very smart, the general manager who became my manager. And so I would go in and then I'd go do my coho.
They'd call you up?
Called me up and I do coho, and she was in the audience and she loved it. So I said, "Oh, can I work here?" And she said, "Yeah. You get better. You can still come work, yeah." And I said, "So how much you gonna pay me?" And she said, "Oh, you can have the parking space in the front."
Was she serious, or was she
"Yeah,
a comedian?
serious." Because she don't know if I'm gonna draw or what. So it started with that, and then she started putting $1 cover, and then she started just paying me, and the cover went up to 2, and then 3, and then 5, and before you know it, it all worked out because I was working. I went back to work at this tour company, with the bad leg, but I could still sing and all that kind of stuff. So, and the tourists started coming as well to my shows, and it was like, in a year, I was well established, and then Lucille came out.
And that one song, Lucille, changed everything.
In one bar in Kalihi, I saw this one lady. She sat down and hemmed her ring. I was all smelly, but I still was niele. So I asked her, "Hey chick, what's your thing?" She was all boss up, 'cause she started for cuss up. She said, "I'm fed up to here." My old man, he's lazy, he's stupid, he's crazy, and I think I'm going to chug one more beer.
What happened was Patrick, the guy that helps me out with all my songs, went to go see Olomana at the Blaisdell Hotel. And they started singing Lucille.
And this is Jerry Santos and Robert Beaumont.
Right, yes. And so he came up to me one time and he said, "What, Lucille, you gonna leave me now?" And I just busted out laughing. And so from there, the song was developed. And so I recorded it. And he also wrote "Don't Sneeze When You Eat Saimin." And that was going to be the title of the second album, my third album. But Lucille kind of jumped over and became the big hit, thanks to Akuhead Papuli. In the show, it was recorded live, and the audience used to go crazy over that. In one bar in Kalihi, I saw this one lady, and it goes on and on. "What, Lucille, you gonna leave me now?" And when it comes to that, it's just hilarious. It's so funny. They just couldn't believe it.
What did they laugh the most at when you did it
The
live?
"What, Lucille." The beginning part was still funny because of rhyming, yeah. But when you got to "What, Lucille, you gonna leave me now," it's because it's you start off the skit with, "You picked the fine time to leave me, Lucille, for hungry children and the crops in the fields. I've had some bad times, I've been through some sad times, but this time the hurtin' won't heal." And so it turns into, "What, Lucille, you're going to leave me now? The kids never eat yet. Mango season, not pow," And so they just thought that was hilarious. And it was. And Akuhead loved it. Akuhead Papuli. Every morning, we released it right after Thanksgiving, in time for the holidays, Christmas shopping, and he played it like twice in his show every morning, 5 days a week.
Number one show?
And number one show, and then other radio stations were getting requests, so they were playing it. And of course, KCCN at the time was also very popular, and they were supportive. So they, of course, started playing it right away. So it was my mega hit. And I never forget, University of Hawaii, the band director asked me if I could do Lucille at one of the games during the break, the halftime. So I said, sure, I'll go. And I practiced with the band ahead of time, And that day I went, and a little bit nervous because, that place was packed. And it seats 50,000, right? So it was one of those games where it was just packed with people. And I started singing in Aba in Kalihi, across from, whatever. And then I come to, and this is what she said. The whole place. What? Lucille, you're going to leave me now? Oh my God. My legs got real weak.
If there's one thing that Frank De Lima is known for, it's his ability to invite us to laugh at ourselves. Frank's comedy is inclusive in that none of us is safe, whether we're Portuguese, Japanese, Chinese, Filipino,
Hawaiian, Korean.
We're all cast members in Frank De Lima's comedic life. But while he's laughing with us, not at us, there are those who don't always agree with Frank's humor.
Now, you're known and loved for your ethnic humor, among other types of humor, but you've also taken some shots for it.
Oh, yeah. When I was growing up and through the seminary and the fundraisers and me having my trio and telling Portuguese jokes and telling my cold radio and the Chinese routines that I did, never got no flack from it. As the years go on, I've developed my jokes and everything else. Okay, the Portuguese jokes came from the MCs at the luau's that my family went to. Hawaiian Electric Luau, Blessed Sacrament Church fundraiser, the St. Francis Carnival, Hospital Carnival. They had a big carnival every year. And all these different places, the same guy used to be the MC, and he was Portuguese. His name was Abel Fraga. And he looked funny when I was real little, but you don't catch jokes until you're about 5th grade or 6th grade. Then you start catching jokes. And because, the whole storyline and then the punchline is supposed to be completely what you don't expect. That's what makes it a joke. And he told him. And when I got to the certain age where I caught on, and the first joke I caught on to was Manuel and Joaquin driving to the airport, saw the sign, said airport left, so they turned around and went home. And I thought that was hilarious. And I wrote it down on the index card. And then every time I heard a joke from Lucky Luck, Sterling Mossman, Keke Kaumanua, all those guys back then, Portuguese jokes was very popular. And
you didn't take offense being half Portuguese?
Oh, no. Nor did my family. Nor did the people that went to the luau's. Everybody was laughing.
And Abel Fraga, who, by the way, I'm related to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Also didn't take offense. He was definitely Portuguese as well.
Full blood, and he had the gab, and he had the accents, and he had the whole body language of a comedian. He was funny, and bald head, with the barriga, and so he was just a great MC, and I just loved whenever we went, and he was the MC, and all the other comedians of the day, and so I have index cards with all these jokes that I would put in a shoebox, and I collected them, and then I started to practice them and use them in families and gatherings and so forth, and like my family friends were Portuguese too. They were Chinese. They all would come over for Thanksgiving or whatever it was, and I would do my thing, and everybody would just love it. In fact, Mr. Santos used to call me up and tell me jokes about Mano or Mary or whatever it is. Well, when I started my career, the first group that took offense was Portuguese. Some of these, the clubs, when you have a club and all the same interests and everything else, and all it takes is for one person to start stirring up the fire. And it wasn't Punch Bowl, it was another club, I forget which one it was. And then it kind of spread a little bit. Certain people, not most of the Portuguese in Hawaii, have open minds, and they're very, very they enjoy local humor.
What was the negative feedback you got, and how did you get it?
They wanted me to stop, or they're going to close the show. at
Because you're making fun
fun
of an
of the
ethnic group.
Portuguese. Yeah. And but then freedom of speech, and I'm well taken care of. You know, sent it to the lawyer. Lawyer sent it back. Don't have nothing to worry about, and you can go on with your show. And so, you know, that kind of simmered because Mom came to my aid with all her Portuguese lady friends and told them to stop it. You know.
Were you equal opportunity ethnic humor?
Oh my goodness! Across the board.
Was there a group that isn't funny? So you didn't make fun?
No. Everybody has their own little idiosyncrasies. But of course, I did the major races because I only knew them. And they all lived in my street.
But there came a time when a respected columnist in town,
Lee
Cataluna, she said, you know, hey, enough with this reinforcing Hawaii stereotypes. And, you know, she talked about how she grew up loving your humor, but it was time to take a pass on that.
And that's her opinion. Yeah, she. I have no idea why she did that, and but I didn't respond, and the reason why I didn't respond is that's her opinion. She's a comedian too, and I was surprised because she told all kind of ethnic jokes as well. So I was surprised that she would take offense to that. Telling, and in the article it says, you know, you shouldn't hire him. The school should stop him from visiting the kids. That was all in the article, and I said, wow. I said, you know, that's like pulling the rug from under me. Then thank God that the community did not back it up.
One target, if you will, of Frank De Lima's humor was Imelda Marcos, wife of former Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos, who had moved to Hawaii in exile. Imelda became a familiar figure on local TV news.
Tell me about that. You were dressed up in your puff sleeves as Imelda.
Right, because she was
Marcos.
on TV every day. And so the same dress, green dress, and the dark glasses with the gold trim. So I called Kathy James, who did all my costumes. And I said, Kathy, can you make me look like Imelda? And so she did. She made the wig and the bun. And because it was the same, the pearl earrings from Woolworths, you know. And so the audience, when the first day, opening night, and I came out at the Noodle Shop with address at Imelda, I could not believe the audience.
Imelda, I love Hawaii. I would love to live next to you. I am Imelda. I lived at Hicam. Now I'm living in a Permakiki. I would love to move back to the Philippines. I am Imelda. I'm Ilocano. Salamat po.
Then Jim Neighbors started to become, liked my show, liked my style. And he brought Carol Burnett one time to the show, and she enjoyed it as well. And then one night he brought in Imelda and the Doris Duke because they were buddies. Now, I didn't know that Imelda hung out with him, first of all. She hangs out with a lot of entertainers. She was an entertainer at one time. And so she's used to this kind of stuff, okay? And maybe even Jim Neighbors probably was making jokes about her shoes or whatever it may be. And so they came in and sat on the front row, and I thought, and this was, oh man, I was a nervous wreck. I didn't know, what am I going to do? Should I? And of course I said, that's why she's here. She wants to see. So I just went out like a true trooper. The show must go on. Comedy is comedy. People come, they have to take whatever is given to them. And so I walked out, and she didn't laugh at first. The audience screamed, especially now that she's here. The audience. So that was a special night for the audience. Jim Neighbors was on the floor, and Doris Duke was, they were just right in the front. she had brought a bag of shoes to the show. But she didn't have the guts enough to go up and give it to me. But I didn't know that until after.
So
But
she had a good feeling coming in.
She was shocked. I could see a shocked look on her face, and it took about maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes, and then she busted out laughing and laughed throughout the whole show. After she came up to me and said, "Frank, that was a beautiful show, and I cannot believe you look so much like me."
If there is a legacy that Frank De Lima will leave, aside from his many characters, it will be his other passion, the Frank De Lima Student Enrichment Program. This outreach program, devoted to helping Hawaii's children understand the importance of reading, studying, laughing, and family, was born when Frank made a trip to Maui and he had some free time.
So I was sitting there and I said, I told my cousin, I got to do something. And then I started thinking about all that 8 years in the seminary, all that education, and the fact that I was working with the Catholic Youth Organization and the Summer Fund Program and gathered all of this knowledge and fun songs and skits that I learned from counselor camps before the Summer Fund starts. We have this stuff to do with, for the kids and teach them things. And so I said, I have all this. I should do something with it. Do you have a school that I can go visit today?
Wow.
Let's start right away. Go call a school and see if we can go. And Charlie said, sure, I'll call Kahului Elementary. And the principal there was so excited, and I know that's why this whole school program began, because it was hard to get into a school. It's not easy, especially comedians, because they don't really know where you're going to go, with
Right.
that, and so, but he knew my background. And so he said, oh yeah, bring Frank. He is hilarious. Local humor, and all that stuff. So when I went, it was 10 minutes later after Charlie made the call. We just jumped in the car and we went. 800 kids were already on the lawn. They must have had a fire drill to get them all out there. And the stage was already out there. It's a built stage out in the lawn area. And they had the PA system just about set up,
So
still
like
testing.
this, in effect.
And then I felt, what am I going to do? I can't believe it. What am I going to do now? All these kids waiting, the teachers. So I went up there and I let God guide me, and half hour, nonstop. And I did the peanut butter and jelly song. Peanut butter, jelly. First you pick the guava and you smash it, and you smash it, and you mix it, and you mix it. Then you pick the peanut and you smash it, and you smash it, and you mix it, and you mix it. Peanut butter, jelly. Peanut butter, jelly. Then you take the bread and you spread it, and you spread it, and you eat it, and you eat it. And the kids just love doing that. Till today, 30 years later, I still include that along with the Buddha Hunt song, which is Hunting for Pig, or skit. And I include that because the kids move up. They're only going to get it twice. And the first time, they're kindergartners. And so I feel repetition is important at that point. Get to know me, because when they get to 4th grade, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, they already know I'm funny. But they also know that I can do serious things. And so I thought that would be a good way to prepare them for when they get older. And then my messages but at least I'll have their attention when I walk in.
From the beginning, did you include values and
Yeah, the reading study. It just came out. I just was talking with the kids. I did a peanut butter. I did the Buddha Hunt. After I introduced myself, and I'm from Oahu. I came long ways, and they go woo like that. The old days, yeah. And and then I said, now reading is so important. Can I tell them my story about me having to read every night before going to sleep? My family, my mom and dad were real great at doing that and supporting the nuns, yeah. And but you read fun books, I told them. That's how you practice your reading. You gotta borrow books that look like it's gonna be fun. The cover has a fire engine, or these are little kids, yeah. And then I talked about family spirit, and I talked about getting along, and the whole thing about nowadays is bullying and cyberbullying and teasing and all that stuff. But back then it was just getting along. It's all I kind of called it family spirit, where you help out each other and so forth. That came from the CYO training,
which is Catholic Youth Organization.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And then also the fact that laughter. And that's when I did the peanut butter and jelly. I said it's healthy to laugh, but you have to behave. You cannot be laughing anytime you want. There's times to be funny and times to laugh and time to study and work hard and not distract people, And so I brought that up. So it slowly developed into the 4 magic words to success.
And what are these
reading,
4 magic words?
Reading, studying, laughing, and family. And then I broke it down into each category and what you do. And that still, till today, is the foundation.
Good, solid stuff, important to success in life. Many thousands of Hawaii youngsters over the years have had the benefit of this advice from comedian Frank De Lima at their schools. His comical presentation and pacing make the serious message behind it all the more memorable. Mahalo piha, Frank De Lima, for sharing your long story short. And thank you for watching and supporting PBS Hawaii. I'm Leslie Wilcox. Ahui ho.
For audio and written transcripts of this program and all episodes of Long Story Short with Leslie Wilcox, visit pbshawaii.org.
Beef stew and rice is about all my favorite foods. The local people love this food. And so I sing beef stew and rice, beef stew and rice, beef stew and rice, spaghetti plate, burger deluxe, beef stew and rice, spaghetti plate, burger deluxe, 1 small Simon, 1 large Simon, 1 small Simon, 1 large Simon, 1 deluxe, 1 ton min, hamburger steak, chili and rice, beef curry stew, soda fries, hamburger steak, chili and rice, beef curry stew, soda fries, liver and onions, liver and onions, liver and onions, shoyu chicken, beef tomato, fried egg sandwich, tossing salad, tuna sandwich, pork tofu, corned beef and cabbage, oxtail soup, frucato cups of the day, corned beef and cabbage, oxtail soup, frucato cups of the day, sweet sour spinach, jello cup pie, alamo, Portuguese bean soup, jumbo shrimp tempura, deep fried bread and mahi-mahi served on top of shredded cabbage, served with macaroni salad, tartar sauce with lemon wedges, 2 scoops rice with plenty shoyu, saltine crackers, rolls in butter, ketchup, mustard, relish, pepper, Pepsi Cola, and more Coke. Steak teriyaki, terry pork and terry chicken, terry burger, terry Sousa, terry cloth. The Thursday special of the day, chili and rice, chili and crackers, chili, hot dog, chili, pepper, chili, weather at the beach, obento lunch, obento lunch, obento lunch. Hawaiian plate, Hawaiian plate, Hawaiian plate, Hawaiian plate. Beef stew and rice, beef stew and rice, beef stew and rice.